Let me ask you a little bit more about Disney's earnings. Any concern here about pricing out of families? I mean, I know that park expansion was a big priority. Obviously, you separate the kind of DTC business from the parks. Where are we looking at in terms of pricing pressures for
Yeah.
families? It's a lot more expensive for a family of four to go now than it was even just a few years ago, Seth.
Yeah, it really is. That's probably the big thing that we're seeing around the parks. The parks are like always the heart of that business. They're not always out front and center. They're not the most glamorous thing to talk about, and they've got a lot of competition there. Universal's got something that's pretty exciting as well in Orlando. But that's probably the biggest consideration is how much can you charge, whether it's per cap or getting faster in line, whatever it is, before you start really hitting that point where people can't afford it anymore. And I think that's a real question right there, unquestionably. So, I mean, I'm sure they'll manage it, but I think that's probably the only sensitivity I'd mention. Look, as long as there's families and kids, Orlando is still going to be a great destination. There are going to be macro factors that always affect it. But I still see Disney as a model and a leader there, and not just talking about Orlando. There's parks in China and in Europe, and obviously the new one coming in Abu Dhabi. So I still see that as like a very big piece of what they're doing. And I'll also just say, Iger's made all these smart acquisitions, right? Pixar, basically, the Fox acquisition. These are things that keep that enterprise rolling over time.